Hello everyone, welcome to day 5 of React.js in-depth tutorial. This is my channel where you will find videos on React.js. There are 5 videos I uploaded. These are crash course on React.js. Those who want to start on React.js, then these 5 videos are sufficient. It covers from beginners to advanced level in a less amount of time. And you will find videos on Angular 8 also. There are 8 videos on Angular 8. And you find videos on CSS3, HTML5. So this is the best channel if you want to start your career as a web developer, if you want to improve your knowledge in web development. So please subscribe to my channel and you will be notified if I will upload whenever I will upload a new video. Without wasting time, so let's start our today's session. So today we'll learn some of the important concepts on React.js. So the concept is how we can today everything covers how we can apply style and classes to our React.js component. How we can apply dynamically style and dynamic classes to our React.js component. So without any hard coding, how we can apply dynamically. So we'll see. So here I will show you like how we can apply style dynamically. So this is my app component. In the render method I have a style object. So this style object I have created in my day3 or I will case day 4 React.js in-depth tutorial. You can watch that. So this is like now I will show you how we can apply inline CSS. So this is like you can create any variable of your choice, any name, where you will define the CSS properties. Property along with value. Value should be in single quote. If it's a multi-word property, then you follow the camel casing. So usually this in CSS it is like background hyphen C is in small in CSS, but it is not recognized in React.js. So we have to remove the hyphen and we have to make C in caps. So here we have a const style variable in which we have defined some of the CSS. Then we will go to our return statement. So in the return statement we have a button having style props and we have provided that style object that we have created. We have binded that to the style props. Okay, so the properties are background color is green and color is white. Just remember this. So those properties are being applicable to this button. So we'll see on page load we are seeing button background is green and text color is in white. So this CSS, the inline CSS is applied. So whatever the CSS we applied, it is only applicable to the button because the style variable that we have created that binded to this button. So this is the way of applying the inline CSS in JSX. Now we can see how we can dynamically change the style. Now the requirement is if I will click on this button, then this background color green should be changed to red. How we can do that? So for that, so on click, so as I covered in my day 4 video, on click of this toggle button, we are calling toggle employee handler. In toggle employee handler, what we are doing, we are changing the state. So we have a show employees property in the state. Initially it is false. When that toggle button is clicked, this handler is false and we are just negating that show employees properties. If it is false, it will be true now. So now on click, the show employees property will get true. Then the render method will execute it because we call this set state method. So here in the render method we have an if statement. It is saying if that is true, then so we are manipulating our style. Style dot background color is red. So we are setting the background color for that style variable as red. We just access as that we access in case of object. Same. style.background color is red. If you want to change some more style like color, we can write here style.color equal to green, whatever it might. So this style, the background color red, will be applied when our show employees property of the state is true. When it is true, when we click on the toggle button. So we see on click of toggle button, background color changes to red. In this way, we applied style dynamically to the button on the basis of some if condition. Right? This way we can apply dynamic style to a button. And the advantage of inline style is like it is applicable to that element in which we applied, in which we binded that to the style props. Okay. Then we will see how we can apply classes to an HTML element dynamically. So till now we have seen how we can apply style dynamically. Now we will see how we can apply class dynamically. Let me comment this. For this I have done some. So before like showing this implementation of applying class dynamically, so here I will tell you one issue that we will face. So actually in this app.js component, if you see, we have imported the app.css file. So now I named this app.css file to app.module.css file. Why I named this, we will come to that. So earlier what was happening is like this class is present in app.css file. Again, this same class is also present in our employee CSS file. So if I will use this class in any of the HTML elements in our JSX code, like we have used, so I have used here in the h1 tag. So now for this is written in app.js, and for this the property is color red, and same class is also present in employee module.css file. Now the property color is green. So always this property will be applied for the same class. It gets overridden because it's a single page application, and as employee is a child component of app component, so this CSS will be at the end. It will be added at the head section. So always like it is not like that we have imported the CSS file in app.js. That's why the CSS is only applicable to the app. It is only scoped to the app component. It is not like that. It's actually whatever we are defining the style here, it is globally applicable to our entire application. If we are using some class in this component, and if this class is present in some other component, then this property will get overridden. So it's kind of global CSS. It's not like it is only restricted to this component. So this is the issue. Now how we can prevent this issue, how we can overcome this issue. So now the requirement is whatever the CSS we defined here, we want to restrict to this app component. We want to scope to this app component. And whatever we CSS defined here, we want to scope to the or restrict to the employee component. We don't want this CSS to be globally applicable. How we can achieve that? So what means the requirement is, even though I am using the same class here and same class here, I want the green color to be implemented for the employee class, employee component, and the red color to be implemented for the app component. This will not get overridden. How we can prevent that? To prevent that, we have to use CSS module concept, one of the important concepts. So to use the CSS module concept, so we have to do a couple of installation. So it depends, like before installing, so what we have to do, we have to go to the package.json file. So my package.json file has changed. So you will see a lot many dependency has been added. So earlier there was like, if you have created a project, If you open that, you will find the package.json file having only three dependencies, three main dependencies: the React DOM, the React, means we have React dependency, React DOM dependency, and React script dependency. Just watch the version of React script. If it is version of 1.x, then we have to execute a command. If it is a version, if the React script is a version of more than 1. Means it is 2.x or more greater than 2.x, then we don't have to execute that command. So for me, it was like version of 3.x, so it is greater than 2.x. So I also don't need to execute that command, but still I executed it to show you. So this is the command that we have to execute. So what we have to do in your command prompt, go to your command prompt, terminate the server by pressing Ctrl C and then type Y. After that, what we have to do, just run this command, npm run eject. Once you execute this command, it will ask for, are you sure you want to eject? The action is permanent, Y or N. You have to type Y and press enter. So what it will do, it will tweak, it will extract, it will pull out the web package from the React script, all the packages from the React script, and you will get a config folder. That's why I have executed this command, npm run eject, and I have entered Y here. So that's why my React script gets tweaked, and now instead of React script, I am seeing the dependencies, the sub dependencies in the React script. You won't see any React script after executing that command, and I am getting a config folder, this one, okay, along with a script folder. In config folder, you have access to the, you will get webpack file, and we need to change that webpack file. So this command and the change in the webpack file that I will show you, that is required only when the React script dependency in package.json file you have lesser than 2.x version. If the React script dependency in package.json file is greater than 2.x or greater than equal to 2.x, then you don't have to run this eject command. So I have run this command to show you this config folder, but actually for me in package.json file the React version was 3.x version, so which is greater than 2.x. so I don't need to execute this command. I executed this command only to show you after executing how it looks, how the folder structure looks. See the folder structure. After executing the eject command, we will pull out the dependencies from the React script. We will pull out the webpack from React script, and it will get access to the webpack in the config folder. So we will get two extra folder after executing that command, config and script. And this is the URL for those who are having the React script of lesser than 2.x version. So this is the best URL what we have to do to utilize the CSS module concept in React. If you scroll down, it is saying see, it is using yarn, we are using npm. So after executing this command npm run eject, okay, it will ask for this, are you sure you want to eject? So you have to type Y, then it will eject, and it will tweak the dependency, the webpack from React script. So you have to, before executing this command, you have to go to your package.json and you have to see whether the React script version is lesser than 2.x. If it is lesser than 2.x, then you have to execute that eject command. Otherwise, it is not needed. After after executing, we will find config folder and script folder. Okay, that we are getting config folder and script folder. Then what next? And to enable the CSS module, you have to make some changes in the webpack file. So you have to go to your webpack config webpack.config dev.js file. So this is the file we will find here. This is the file. It is saying go to that and search for CSS loader. And in the CSS loader, you have to see the CSS loader. You have to include this option here. Okay, for me it is not required because for me the React script version is more than 2.x, that is 3.x. So it is not required. So if you have the version of less than 2.x, then you have to follow these steps. So after inclusion, so here it is like, let me tell you what is the meaning of this true. So module is true means it will unlock the CSS module feature in React.js. A local identity name means it will give some unique name to all your CSS class. So even though you have the same CSS class in app module.css file and employee.module.css file, they will automatically get a different name. So this is how they will generate your by default name, any hash name, random name for your classes, so that your classes will be unique one and it won't be like universally applicable. Then after this, what we have to do? You have to start your server by running npm start. That's it. And for me, the React version is more than 2.x version, so that's why that is not needed. So for those who are using a project structure in which the React script version, means you have to go to the package.json file and you have to see what is the version of React script. If it is more than 2.x, then what we have to do, just you don't have to execute any eject command or you don't have to make any changes in web config.js. It is not needed at all for us, for those having React script more than 2.x version. Okay, so the only change in that case is you have to rename your CSS file as .module.css. So earlier it was employee.css, but I want to use the CSS module feature, so that's why we have to use .module. This is the convention for those who are using React script of more than 2.x, greater than or equal to 2.x version. If it is less than 1.x version, you have to use the traditional way, employee.css. You don't have to add the module extension. Okay, so that's why I rename my CSS file. Then what next? You have to do an import statement. Earlier you are using this import for accessing the classes in the employee CSS file. Now the employee CSS is renamed to employee.module.css file. You have to import then any name, so usually we prefer classes from that file. So what it will do, whatever the CSS classes we have defined here, that will be imported to this class. So these properties, this CSS class will become the property for this class object, and the value for that this property will be some uniquely generated classes. That uniquely generated classes is being generated by CSS module feature during the build process. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, so it will be clear, don't worry. After this import statement, what we have to do, we have to mention the class name. So we go to our return statement. The return statement here, earlier I was written class name equal to :app. So I was directly referring to this app, but now we could not able to write that. we have to access that class by using classes.app, because classes is now an object having property as app. This app corresponding to this class, and it will give some uniquely the value for this app property will be some uniquely generated class name that is being generated. That unique class name is generated by during the build process by the React. You don't have to worry about that. So that if these classes won't be now any global CSS. So it is not, it means after this, like every class has some unique name. So our class name won't crash on classes with other CSS files. Okay. So this is the way, like how we can apply the class using classes.app, and this whatever the name we mentioned here, that should be within this CSS file. Then we'll see how we can dynamically assign the class. So what I want is, now the requirement is, let me close this, it is not needed anymore. Now the requirement is initially this text is in by default black color. When I will remove this element, this employee, if the number of employee is less than equal to 2, it should be in red color. If it is less than equal to 1, it should be in bold color. Let me remove. So only 2, that's why it is in red color. If I remove one more, so it is now less than equal to 1, so it is in red as well as in bold. If you remove this also, it will remain red and bold. For less than 2, less than equal to 2, it should be in red. For less than equal to 1, it should be red as well as bold. So for that, I have gone to my modular CSS file. I have like added two class, red class and bold class, and I need to add this class dynamically on the basis of number of employees. So in the render method, I use some if statement. So where it is, yeah. So I have used an array, and there is if statement. If the state.employees.length, if the employee property in the state is having a length of less than equal to 2, this employee property, coming from here, that we have created in my last video. This is the employee that we define in the state. Okay. If the length is less than equal to 2, we are in that array, we are pushing the red class, and we access the class by using classes.red. Okay, same way. If it is less than equal to 1, we are pushing the bold class. So these are two different if statements. So if it is 2 or less than 2, this will be applicable. If it is less than 1, then this is applicable, and this also if statement will get applicable. That's why we have two different if statements instead of else if statement. Clear? Then whatever the array we found, what we have to do, we have to use the class name equal to, within the curly braces, you have to convert that array into a string, because classes we provide in string with some space between the two classes. So this is an array. We convert that array to string by using the join. This is a JavaScript function on the array. Then we need some space between that. So we are joining that array by some empty space. So now the class will be like, it will be added like this. It is like the class will be red, then some space, then bold. That is what we want. Okay. This way we can dynamically adding the class by using this approach, by using the if else condition, pushing the classes into an array, and we are converting this array to a string by using the join with an empty space. It's a single space. Okay. Then what I will demonstrate is, okay, now see dot join, right? Okay, okay, that also we will do. So the requirement is now, let me, okay, refresh my page. Now what I want, this button is initially in green color. On click I need to change that to red color. So earlier we have seen how we can apply the style dynamical. Now we can see how we can apply the class dynamical to this button. Okay. So for this, what I have done, in CSS file, I have created a button with some CSS. Then button hover also. If you hover, what will be the CSS? Then we have a red class for the button as well as on hover on the red class. So these four property I have created. Okay. And what I am doing, so here in the render method, I have created a array. In that array, I have pushed class.button. So initially, this class will be applicable. But background color is green and white, and this will be hover CSS. These two classes will be applicable initially. Okay. Then what I am doing here, when we'll see the employees, when you click on the toggle button, this show employee will be true, this if statement will be executed. Like we have changed the style here, we'll push, means we'll change the class here. Now I am pushing another class red. Initially it has a button class, now it has a red class. So this button class are now having the two class, one button and red. So in button we have this CSS, and in the red class we are overriding the background color from green to red. That's it. And even we are overriding the hover color also from light green to light salmon. Then now we have added the class dynamically on the basis of some if condition. Then the same process repeated. We have to do class name button class dot join. We convert that array to a string with a single space. This we can add dynamic class. So the key takeaway from this session is, if you want to add some CSS, you have to use CSS module. Then only this CSS property whatever will define here, that will be scoped to this component. It won't be like global CSS. Okay. So we have to use CSS module. For using the CSS module, we have to convert the CSS file to, we have to rename the CSS file to app.module.css. Provided that you have React script of version 2.x or greater than 2.x. If it is less than 2.x, you have to execute the npm run eject, and it will switch the script React script dependency, and you will get a config and script folder. And in the config folder in the webpack, you have to make some changes that I demonstrated. And similarly, like in the employee module.css file, we have an employee class. We'll go to this component. Earlier we have given, like earlier we have written like this, class name, like this way. I will show you. Class name directly, we have hard coded this type, the class that we have written in the CSS file. But now we want to write this using the CSS module. So for that we have to import classes from this employee.module.css file, and what we have to do, we have to apply the class using the curly braces. So just remember, means once we are using this class import classes, you could not able to write this CSS class directly. You have to take use of classes.employee. Okay, let me save it. Okay, see, click this red. So we'll see this class in action. Let me go to this class first. Okay, if you see, we have a root div, then we have a app div. So earlier the class was like in the app div we have applied class dot app. If you see in the return statement, we have applied classes dot app. So now this app corresponding to this app that we have defined here in the corresponding CSS file. Okay, and this will generate, our CSS module will generate some random class for that, in which the middle name is our class name that we have defined. So in this way our class gets unique. So if the same class, let's suppose this dot app class, if I will define here, and here I have given the text align center, here I will give the text align right, then the right text align will be applicable to this app class and the center text align will be applicable to this app class. So in this way they won't be no more, they won't be like acting as a global CSS. They are now glue, now scope to the corresponding component in which it is imported. So we are like overcoming this global CSS issues by using CSS module, because CSS module create the unique class. So accidentally if we will use the same class in the some more than one component, then those classes CSS will be applicable only to that component, that won't be globally applicable. Okay, then we will see for h1. Okay, so if you see in h1 we have added header ctn. So this class that we have added earlier before using the CSS module, header ctn. So as we are using the CSS module, this class will not able to add this class directly. It won't have any impact. So if you see, you won't find the class here, header ctn, because that is not at all not working at all once we add the CSS module. So for using this header ctn, what we have to do? We have to bind this with like this way. We have to like this way. We have to write classes dot header ctn. Then only it will work. Then to the paragraph section, we have added an array of class. The paragraph section, if you see, initially no class is added because initially our array, the assigned class array, is empty. If the number of employee is less than 2, we will see, if I will delete one employee, we will see the red color, the red class is applied. So red is our class. Okay, the red that we have defined here. Now the red class is applied. If I will delete one more, then you will see one more class will be applied. So let me delete one. So if you see, now we have red class as well as bold class applied with some space. That's why we have written here assign classes dot join with some space. We are converting the array to string with some space, with an empty space for separating the classes. Now for the toggle button, if you see, in toggle button we have button class, then some space, then red class. So actually these are uniquely generated class name with our own class name. So the prefix is app. So usually the prefix usually is the corresponding to our root element, the root class name. The root class name is app, so that's why its prefix is app. Then our local class name, and the remaining thing is randomly generated. Okay. So likewise, if you see, this is our employee. So we have one employee, so we are seeing only one team. If we refresh, right? If you refresh, you will find 3 teams for 3 employees. Let me toggle, then only we'll see. Now we are seeing 3 divs for 3 employees. Okay, and for each employee we have an employee class. The prefix is employee and it is randomly generated. This employee class corresponding to our employee here, right? In this way, the unique class is generated is created during the build process of React.js. We don't worry about that. And now our class name owns classes with each other. Now our CSS file is like glue or scope to the component in which it is imported. And we can use media query also. No issues. Okay, we can use all kind of stuffs here, all the CSS properties. But the only difference is we cannot add directly the classes here. We have to use classes.employee. I mean the class that we have defined here. And this will give an uniquely created class. So in that way, this CSS file is scoped to this component and this CSS file is scoped to this component. They are no longer our global CSS file. Okay. So this is all about how we can apply the CSS using the CSS module, how we can change the style dynamically. Okay, how to apply inline style. So let's see one important concept, how we can debug our application. So debugging is one of the important concepts. So for debugging, what you have to do, you have to install React Dev Tool first. React Dev Tool. Okay. You will get a Chrome extension for the React Dev Tool. You have to install that. This is the correct website. Go to that. Okay. You have to add the extension. I already added, that's why I am getting the remove button. You will get, if you won't have added, then you will get the add button. Once you add that to the Chrome, what you have to do, to right click inspect element, you will get this one, like this one. Right click, then inspect element. You will get this screen and go to the component section. In the component section, you will see. So it will show all the components corresponding to the page you are in. So if I will refresh, right, we will get only the app component because employee component has not generated yet. They are hidden. So if we will select this, we will find the state of that component. We will find the information about the props. For the app component, we don't have any props. We have state, we have an employee state defined in which we have 3 employee details. We have show employee state which is initially false. So these are all the state that we have defined in our code, right? So this one. To see how it is easy to show our props, to see our props and state from the browser itself. This is basically used for debugging purposes. We can able to see whether we are getting the correct state or correct props. Then let me toggle this so that we will get the employee component. So on toggling, we are getting 3 employees, so that's why we are getting 3 employee components and having different keys. So we have provided the different keys because these employees are generated dynamically using array iteration. This is by using the map operator. So you have to provide the unique key that we have already discussed in my previous video. Let me select one. You will find so this one corresponding to this one. Okay, so it automatically select that component. It will highlight that component, and we will find props age is 28. The age is 28 that we are passing. Okay, so I clicked on the paragraph. That's why it's removed. Again, I will. So the age is 28 that we are seeing here. Okay, and the name is Anil that we are seeing here. And we are passing changed click function as a prop also. if you see for each employee we are passing the name props, age props, changed function instance event props, then click event props. So you will find these props as a these are the props in which click and change are the two function props and age is a number, name is a string prop. Then it is saying like this is where it is like which component is rendering this employee. So it is saying it is being rendered by app component because we have included this employee within the app component. So here we can also find which is the parent component for this employee. Which component is responsible for rendering this employee. If you go to the second employee, it will highlight the second. See here it is highlighting, and we will see the props corresponding to that second employee. Okay, clear. So you can change the prop also. I will. So for the second employee initially it was 55. I will change it to 20. If I will come outside, this is changed to 20. You can change it to some other props also. Okay, in this way we can play with the props. Because of some reason is not allowing me to change. Let's try. So something happened as my browser tab. So we can change the prop here. We can change the state as well. So we will go to the app component. Here we can change the state. So we go to the age. For the first employee, the age is 28 years. To this one. So I will change 28 to some other age. Why is it not allowed to change? I don't know. So it should allow you to change. Okay. So let me again inspect element. Maybe it get rectified. We'll go to the. So once you install the DevTools, so you have to go to the component section. Okay, that I forgot to answer. So in the component section, we can able to see those state and props. So it is still loading. Okay. I'm trying to change. It's not allowing me to change. So you can change it. Okay, so no issues. You can try it out in your browser. Maybe it's the browser issue. So here we can. So basically here we can see the state. We can see the props. We can play with the state and props, and our UI get updated automatically on the basis of that. Okay, and we can debug our application also. Okay, now I will change. So see, initially it is 28 years. So I will change this 28 to 40 years, and I will come outside. 40 years. It get updated. How UI get updated. So in this way we can play with the state also. Now we'll see the debugging. How we can debug our application. For that we have to go to the source file, source tab. Then expand this. This is my project folder. Expand this. Go to the src. So I will open my app.js file. So it is already open. So I know like when I will type in this input field, my namechain handler function is called. And let's suppose I am facing some issues in namechain handler and I want to debug this function. Then you have to put the breakpoint. Just click on that line. You will get the breakpoint. Now if you will type something, the debugging will start here. So now it is paused. The debugging will start. If you will type something, the debugging started. So you can debug your application. You can go line by line. So now it is not executed. So that's why initially it is undefined. Okay, and we can see the ID that we have received. Employee index. Employee index is 0 because this is the first element. And ID is 1. Okay. We will get the information about the event because this parameter is already been executed. and here this line is not executed, that's why we are getting undefined. If you hover over the employee, we will get the data corresponding to the employees. If you come here, so it is not showing, so we will get ID also here. Okay, ID is 1, employee.id, because it is not executed, so that's why it is not showing. So let's execute this line. For executing this line, like to go one line by line, how we can do? We'll click on this arrow button. I executed, so it's an array, so it will execute it 3 times. First time gone, second time gone, third time gone. Because we have 3 elements, so it is executed. Now if I will hover on the employee, I will get the employee object, because that line is executed and it satisfies the condition, so that's why we are getting an employee object. Okay, then I will again execute this line. I will find the copy of that employee object. In this way we can debug and we will find the error. Whenever you want to stop the debugging, then click on this. It will stop the debugging and it will execute the remaining code and you will find the updated one. And after your debugging, just remove this breakpoint. Remove it. So in this way we can debug our application. So in today's session we have covered how to utilize the CSS module so that our CSS file will get scoped to the component in which it is imported, how we can apply dynamic classes, how we can apply the style dynamically, how we can debug our application, what is the use of dev tools, and we can see the props and state in the component section of the dev tools. We can play with the prop and state. Okay, so these are all of the important concepts that we have covered today. So thank you guys for watching. We'll meet again in my day 6 React.js in-depth tutorial. Till then, practice all these concepts and please subscribe to my video.